Hello. So looking over the segment cleaner, I think it doesn't have that problem, but I'm going to need to audit it more carefully tomorrow when I'm, awake.
Mhm.
Um, Interestingly, with that fix to the handle split, I can't reproduce the assert anymore. At least I haven't been able to for the
Maybe
last 3 or 4 hours.
maybe that's fixed.
Maybe. I kind of doubt it, but I may have fixed a cause I didn't think of, in which case I'll need to figure out why. I think there's probably another one though. Nevertheless, it might be interesting, Chunmei, if you wanted to test current master and see how easy it is for you to reproduce it now.
Oh, sure.
I think you're right, Kingzon. I think there's still a bug in the segment cleaner.
Mhm.
Just not sure
Mhm.
where.
And so today only three of us?
Well, let's give it a couple of minutes. It just crossed 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Well, it just crossed the start of the meeting. We should at least get Greg.
So this link is I use the perf to do the performance profiling, and LBA alloc extent seems occupied about 20% of the CPU cycles.
That sounds right. LBA
And
alloc extent. Can you drill further? Is it like the actual LBA tree traversal? Or,
there is the call stack, so you can check.
yes. Like there's a trivial improvement there where we should be doing a binary search when we're looking at the individual nodes. That would speed
Yeah.
things up substantially.
So do you want to do it, or I can do it for you?
No, it sounds like that would be a good thing for you to do.
Yeah.
Should
Okay.
be a
I will do
relatively
the binary
straightforward.
search.
Yeah. I'll get to it eventually if you don't have time, but seems like a good project. Chunmei, I would look for two things. I would look for how much time we're spending. So when we're allocating a stent, we do sort of two things. We first start at the hint. So that first tree lookup should be log n, that part. Then we iterate forward until we find an open space. So the first thing to do, I think, would be to work out whether we're spending our time primarily in that initial tree traversal, or if what's happening is we're spending a ton of time looking through adjacent keys where we can't find an insertion point. If it's the former, then the binary lookup thing will help. If it's the latter, then something's not working correctly with hinting. We shouldn't generally be allocating in a portion of the LBA tree that has a lot in it. Does that make sense?
So first, you want to make sure if the hint has the uh, effective, right?
Yeah, exactly. Are we tending to hit a portion of the tree that already has a lot allocated in it? So basically, we probably want a perf counter that counts how many times we iterate forward after the initial iterator. Does that
Pardon,
make
can
sense?
you repeat?
We probably want a perf counter to count how often, or on average, how many times we have to call next to find an open space.
Oh, okay. So the iterator
So if
next,
you,
right? Iterator next.
uh, well, specifically in this alloc extent pathway,
Yeah. When
like in
when
the,
when calling the alloc extent, the iterator next is called how many
yeah,
times?
yeah, compared with how many times alloc extent is called at all.
Okay, I
That
see.
ratio should give us a hint as to what's going on there. Okay, anyway, let's do the meeting. Let's see. For me, I just fixed a couple of bugs with the B-tree thing. I'm still trying to track down the save assert, basically. Chunmei, how's it going?
I reviewed the extent manager PR and other small PRs and do the perf analysis. I have pasted the link in the chat window so everybody can check it. And the initial result is, or the draft result is, I found that LB allocate extent occupied about 20% of the total CPU cycles. The perf collected the CPU cycles and only on the CPU 1. So the correctness OSD running on the CPU 1. And so that's the result. And just now, Sam suggested we use the perf counter to calculate how many iteration next is called versus the allocate extent counters, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
Okay. Greg?
Oops. I'm just working on assimilating more stuff and going through the SeaStore tutorial. I noticed a few random things that I'll send in PRs for to make just working with VStart a little nicer, and I have to take a little bit of time to do some unrelated stuff for stretch clusters.
Sounds good.
Got to do some backwards for downstream and add a command.
Behan, how's it going?
Oh, I was fixing bugs within the extend placement manager PR, and I think this week I will return to the multi-device support work. I'll get it done as soon as possible. That's all.
So the top 3 commits on the EPM PR, I think are not, we probably want to remove. Let's see.
I think I've removed it.
Oh, cool. Let me reload. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
All right, I'll run this. So when I ran this earlier today, I almost immediately got an IO hang. I didn't track it down though, and I wasn't getting any useful debugging. Have you seen that yourself, or?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I'll run it again. I'll run it again tomorrow and get some actual information. It may not be happening anymore at all with your repushed version.
Okay.
All right, Yingzhen?
Yeah, last week I have implemented hints in the Ono tree, and I added client independent way to collect and parse metrics. So I think it should also work for NBD tool with SeaStore backend. So it's more generic. And now I added eight more graph with IOPS and throughput and some C star metric. I think there's one unique metrics here, which is reactor utilization. I think it's unique because this is the only place to get the accurate CPU utilization that removes the basic pooling effects. So I think we can refer to this metric to understand how Crimson is stressed. So next, I think I will help debugging SeaStore, and you have some star metrics I don't understand it, and I will try to. And the next step, I will try to reduce write amplification from Ono tree. So that's all for me.
Setting. So this sketch starve main, that's the busy wait thing? What's the idea?
Sorry?
I'm looking at your CPU utilized ratio. Sketch starve main, that would be the portion of the time we spend waiting, right?
Yeah.
Or sketch wait main?
The schedule is the reactor queues. The main means the name of the queue. There's another queue named exit by default. And if we add more scheduling group, there will be more get
I see.
run metrics. So if we need to see the total utilization is, I think it's blue, the reactor utilization.
I see. Okay, cool. Wow, that's really neat. All right. Did I miss anyone? Anything else we want to talk about? All right. Have a good week. Later.
See y'all next week.
Bye bye.
See you.